you very much, Honorable Speaker. And based on actually the previous, it's good that these things are coming at the same time because you are able to compare and relate even based on the previous contribution. Because, Honorable Speaker, we just debated about NGCDF, a report of 2016-2017 financial year, which is a decade ago. This is even making it worse. We have now 2015. I think we are now going backwards even. That Kenyans are watching us at home, discussing about an audit report of the year 2015. Honorable Speaker, I believe even some of the members of this House were actually in high school by that time. And this calls us to be more concerned about the infrastructure we have in terms of the state infrastructure when it comes to accountability. Because we cannot be here talking about GAF, and we are talking about year 2015. Actually, a colleague of ours here, my friend, the member for Kacheliba, was not even a CEO by then. He became CEO, now he's an MP. Meaning, we are yet actually to even debate his year as a CEO of GAF. And he's now sitting in this house. So we need to fast track the kind of audits we are doing, because I know the conveyor belt on the side of the Office of the Auditor General, they have done their best. They have churned some reports. At the very basic, we just be at par with them. And then we start talking about how can we progress further by making the Office of the Auditor General progress further in terms of being at least discussing the last 2 years, not the last decade, so that the things we are talking about here are more relevant even to the current situation. Honorable Speaker, as we have seen the performance and the output of the devolved funds, many times I ponder and I think that the big cake we call the national budget of currently now over 4.5 trillion Kenya shillings. I wish we had much more resources in these devolved funds, Honorable Speaker, because their bureaucracies are very constrained. The bureaucracy of GAF, the bureaucracy of NGCDF is so thin that most of the money actually goes to where it should be. And no other the reason why, if you go to the villages, you are likely to see the impact of these devolved funds more than you are likely to see of the national government itself, which is left by the much bigger cake after we take the crumbs. Because what we take is basically not even a drop in the ocean. It is vapor in the big essence of the entire budget. That you are talking about GAF and NGCDF combined, Honorable Speaker. We are talking about around 1.1% of the entire budget, or 1.2%, maximum 1.5% of the entire budget, Honorable Speaker. And we are able to see the impact. We need to interrogate ourselves, even not just this House, but also Kenyans, because if, for example, we gave GAF a multiple of 4, and we gave NGCDF, let's say, a multiple of 3, Honorable Speaker, we will be even tarmacking roads using NGCDF, because we'll do away with the business of schools completely. We'll put tiles, put ceilings, put even carpets in classrooms, because we'll have so much resources, figuratively speaking. We'll have all the learners in school in terms of support of the soft side, that is bursaries. We'll now be seeking authorization from NGCDF board to do even tarmac roads, Honorable Speaker, to even do mega electricity projects of lighting our villages, because these resources would be monumental. And I am here wondering, because it's not a matter of these resources are not available. It is a matter of where are these resources left. At the bigger cake, the kitchen where this cake is left, the bureaucratic machine is so heavy that we use much of the funds in oiling the government machinery more than in actually dispensing services to the Kenyan people. So that's a balance we need to interrogate as Kenyans, Honorable Speaker, so that we are able to drive much more development in our villages. The other thing, Honorable Speaker, is that we need to keep on strengthening the systems. GAF has come a long way, just like CDF. Initially, when NGCDF came on board, just like GAF, even money could be handled in cash. You could take money to a school using cash. There was no NGCDF committee members, Honorable Speaker. The MP, you would go, you complain the toilet is collapsed, and the MP would write you a check there and then. But the systems have now improved. And the systems, when they improve, they bring about efficiencies, but also accountability. And I'm happy that even GAF has come a long way when it comes to systems. Because in the government and the way government dispenses resources, the output is always as good as the process. And when we streamline the process, we are also likely to improve the output. But there is also a room for improvement when it comes to GAF systems, Honorable Speaker, so that they are much more stringent, and so that the systems are a bit more cross-headed other than open-headed, Honorable Speaker. The other thing is what I said before. The Office of the Auditor General has been doing a great service in our republic. Honorable Speaker, you know, when we talk about a country and a modern country like Kenya, a modern state, many things are critical all the time. One is, of course, having instruments of a modern state. Instruments of a modern state is the bureaucracy of government. Bureaucracy of government is government institutions. When we talk about boards, parastatals, departments, and sagas, all that constitutes, Honorable Speaker, what is the state functionaries and state institutions. The second thing, of course, when we talk about even a modern economy, is the rule of law. And this conveyor belt on accountability and the report you are talking about here, even the rule of law, which is based on our judicial system, has also a say in the report we are discussing today, Honorable Speaker, at the head of the conveyor belt. And of course, the last one in the three segments is accountability through democracy. That's the fact that we are now elected as leaders, that we are not appointed, that you are a representative of the people. And that is why all the time, a representative of the people has to always talk the language of the people. Because you are not elected to become different. You are elected to represent. And when you are elected to represent, for example, you can't go to a chama like the one Gasheri belongs to, and Mokoji is going there to vie to be the chair. They need to elect one of their representatives. That is why even in the committees of parliament, the chair of a committee is a member, because you are representing your colleagues. That is why it is always important even in this house, because accountability through democracy is hedged on democratic institutions like parliament, like the Senate, and anything around democracy. That is why it is important when you are in this house, Honorable Speaker, we must always speak for the people, not for the system. We must always advance the welfare of the people, because we are their representatives. When you elected a leader, there should be no gap between the people you are representing and yourself, in terms of the line of thought and in terms of representation. But going back, because the point I wanted to make is on the state itself. GAV, NGCDF, and the rest are a part of the government, are part of the state institutions. Let us keep on refining them so that they become better. The other point I was giving, Honorable Speaker, in the previous contribution was based on audit that is real time, and especially when we need special audits. Kenya is currently going through some situations that are unprecedented. We are having a 204 billion transaction in terms of Safaricom IPO, which is actually a face of incompetence. We are having a Kenya pipeline IPO, Honorable Speaker, which by yesterday was undersubscribed. Within hours, it is oversubscribed. Why? Because the government is selling itself shares. You come here as Kenya pipeline, you are purporting you are doing an IPO, but you are selling to NSSF.
You are added 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We are here discussing monumental issues. Safaricom is a 204 billion Kenya shillings transaction. Kenya has never had such a transaction ever since independence. Honorable Speaker, some of these issues, when we raise them, the Office of the Auditor General needs resources that they can be able to go ahead and investigate such matters, arrest them when they matter. That is why they actually need to have one account. The other thing is Kenya Pipeline, as I was saying. You are here doing an initial public offering, but it's not public. It is subscribed within a day. Phone calls come to NSSF, another phone call to National Superannuation, another one to KCB, another one to Kenya Re, another one to Kenya this. Institutions that has also other private shareholders. And then we are channeling money there, Honorable Speaker. And then we come to face Kenyans, oh, it is oversubscribed. Oversubscribed because of political interference, Honorable Speaker, where we are putting workers' money in suboptimal commercially, in suboptimal areas, Honorable, commercially speaking. And Honorable Speaker, that is why the Office of the Auditor General need capacity, so that that kind of matters, they move with speed, they stop them when they matter most. Now, we are handing over even the control of Kenya Pipeline to our brothers in Uganda. Then, is this still Kenya or Kenya-Uganda Pipeline, or what is it about, Honorable Speaker? Everything is bogged down because political interference in running of institutions, Honorable Speaker, is a bigger headache than
audit. I wish you had asked for more time. The Honorable Mukunji will now make his contributions.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I want to take toll and say it is also sad that NGAF now we are talking of audit reports of 2015. Honorable Speaker, if my maths are right, that's 11 years. That means, Honorable Speaker, when the audit report of Kirinyaga that Honorable Njeri Maina today is oversighting, most likely, Honorable Speaker, it will be done when she is the president, or maybe I'm the president, after 11 years. And this Honorable Speaker says that either there is something wrong, or, Honorable Speaker, there is something very wrong. And 11 years of usage of public funds without oversight, without accountability, Honorable Speaker, is against the Constitution of Kenya. And this House, Honorable Speaker, under Article 95, is clearly mandated to actually look at the usage of our hard-earned taxes, Honorable Speaker. While we agree that the two funds that we have discussed today, Honorable Speaker, the NGAF and NTCDF, have a good model that can be emulated by this nation, Honorable Speaker, I just feel that it is not right, and we will call your office, Honorable Speaker, to check further and see the recommendations that come from this House that will involve making it prudent on the audit reports that we are talking about. And Honorable Speaker, I believe we might be here talking about NGAF and NDCDF. What about over 1,000 government agencies, parastatals, wings, funds that would be in the same level? It means that, Honorable Speaker, we will be speaking of scandals. Maybe we will unearth scandals of 2026 in 2035. That is dangerous. Honorable Speaker, that is not acceptable. And because I believe this House is progressive, there is a need to relook on how we can make that better. Honorable Speaker, I also rise, Honorable Speaker, to say, and Honorable Member for Kiharu has raised very serious and pertinent matters. Honorable Speaker, we are here at this time, and Honorable Member for Kiharu is saying that calls were made to make sure that the Kenya pipeline that was under the IPO and it was undersubscribed, calls were made to use money that is meant for pension in NSSF to buy shares for a place that they were clearly not interested. Honorable Speaker, if this House does not really call for a special audit and questions to be asked, then we will be failing in our mandate. Honorable Speaker, if we are today talking about selling our assets, then we start rebuying them without the question of what if these pensioners lose their resources, then, Honorable Speaker, this will be a very bad precedent that we are setting. We have just put out two of our government assets to sell. What about the rest? Will people find their monies misused through the real things that we are talking about? We are looking for resources to do infrastructures, Honorable Speaker. And I dare say, Honorable Speaker, even the infrastructure bill that we are discussing here, we must have NGCDF enlisted as people that are supposed to enjoy that infrastructure fund. Because, Honorable Speaker, whatever we call infrastructure, we cannot say these are resources that are supposed to be set out of this House. We can't give our mandate out. We cannot release our mandate to State House. We cannot say that somebody will be sitting down rewarding people that come and say two-term. It is not acceptable. This House has its mandate from the people. And this House must realize its power to ensure that public resources are well utilized. We should also ensure GAF is part of the implementation of the infrastructure fund. So that, Honorable Speaker, when Gasheri sees it's important to have a KMTC in Kirinyaga, is able to get resources from the infrastructure fund that this House is debating. And this is how we are going to make sure the resources get to the right people. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, I want to say that we have also seen an explosion in the use of cash, hard cash, in various, I don't know whether to call them political events, but they have a name called empowerment, whereby leaders are moving around with more than 100 million here and there. Honorable Speaker, who audits these funds? Who actually allocates and say that this fund came from here? That's when you hear somebody has used his budget in 2 months. And most likely, Honorable Speaker, knowing Kenya, if you find somewhere 100 million has been released to do something, whatever amount that gets to where it's supposed to be used is less than 10%. It is less than 10%. It tells you, Honorable Speaker, that questions must be asked, answers must be given. And that is the only way, Honorable Speaker, that will be living the dream of our Constitution and reliving the dream as it is written in this House, Honorable Speaker, for the welfare of society and the just government of the people. Government of the people. I call upon this House to ensure that we don't read audit reports of Honorable Gasheri in 2032. Let's ensure we are up to date when it comes to matters, idiot. Honorable Speaker, I submit.